It's been a year. 1 year since Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow, decided to play God. He turned Gotham into a proving ground for his philosophy. A city gripped by fear. A population forced to stare their nightmares in the face. He wasn't subtle about it. He drugged the commuter trains during rush hour, packed with workers, families just trying to make it home. The gas turned their minds inside out, forcing them to relive the worst fears on a loop. One man, a father, jumped 20 stories in front of his daughter. Crane called it research, said fear is the one universal truth, that without it, we're nothing. He was wrong. I caught him that night, cornered him in the basement of an abandoned theater on Park Row. Fitting, I suppose. That's where it all started for me. And that's where it ended for him. He thought he was untouchable. Thought his mind games gave him the edge. But fear works differently on me. He never understood that. And he never will. I'm not afraid of him or what he thinks he stands for. I brought him down, handed him to Gordon, and Arkham locked him away where he belongs. For a while, I told myself it was over, that it was done. But nothing in Gotham is ever really over. At least not for long. A year later, and the city hasn't changed. If anything, it's worse. Fear spreads. It moves like a virus, finding cracks in the foundation, making them wider. Black Mask and Two-Face are proof of that. They have turned the city into their battleground. The war started as a fight for territory. Corner boys shooting at each other over scraps of pavement. But it didn't stay small. It never does. Black Mask doesn't just want power. He wants chaos. And Harvey, he wants revenge. Now it's a full-scale war. Shootouts in the Narrows, bombings in Burnley. Bodies turning up every night, throats cut or worse. Civilians are caught in the crossfire, left to bleed out on the sidewalks, while the gangs fight over who gets to own the streets. Gordon stretched thin. His officers are running themselves into the ground, trying to hold back the tide. The system was already broken before. Now, it's collapsing. One more push, and it'll all come crashing down. The city knows it. That's how fear works. It gets in your bones, into your blood. Crane was wrong about a lot of things, but not about that. Fear spreads. But so does hope. Even here, even now, it's not about winning. It's about standing. And about showing them that someone is still here. That no matter how dark it gets, no matter how much blood they spill, Gotham isn't theirs to take. And they're not the only ones trying to take it. Killer Croc is back. He's hiding in the sewers, feeding off the war. When bodies disappear in the Narrows, it's not because they ran. It's because he took them. Black Mask and Two-Face realize this. They've started dumping the dead in the storm drains, using Croc as a garbage disposal. To them, it's efficient. But they don't realize the monster they're creating. Croc doesn't care about their war. He doesn't care about sides or loyalty. The only thing he cares about is his hunger. And the more they feed him, the harder he'll be to stop. I tracked him down last week. Found him in the storm drains, chewing on what was left of Black Mask's enforcers. He's much stronger now. Faster. His scars haven't healed yet, but the hate in his eyes, that's grown. I hit him harder than I've ever hit anyone, but it didn't stop him. It just made him angrier. And if I didn't know any better, I'd think the city was feeding him too. The way it feeds all of us. The way it turns us into monsters. And then there's Nigma, the Riddler. He doesn't care about the gang war. Not in the way they think he does. To him, it's just a distraction. Noise. While Black Mask and Two-Face rip each other apart, Nigma's been using the chaos to build something. A game. A message. He's been leaving riddles again. Graffiti sprayed on the walls. Encrypted files dropped into the GCPD servers. Clues carved into the bodies he leaves behind. He wants me to play his game. But I don't have time for games. Not now. Not with the city on the brink of collapse. Nigma doesn't understand that. He thinks everything is a puzzle. Something to solve. But there's no solving Gotham. There never will be. Poison Ivy. Pamela Isley. She told herself she wouldn't get involved this time. That Gotham could destroy itself without her lifting a finger. But it never works that way. The gang war spilled into the green. Black Mask's men used Robinson Park to smuggle weapons across the city. Two-Face's men took notice and burned the trees to send a message. They didn't think she'd notice. They didn't think she'd care. But they were wrong. I found one of Black Mask's lieutenants hanging from the branches of an elm, vines wrapped around his neck. She left a message carved into his chest. Stay out of the green. But they won't listen. They never do. And when they keep pushing, she'll push back harder. That's the problem with Ivy. She never knows when to stop. She'll turn the park into a graveyard if that's what it takes. When that happens, the blood will be on her hands. There's also Scarface, the ventriloquist. Some people think he's a joke. He's not. He's playing both sides of the war, selling weapons to Black Mask one day and setting fire to one of his warehouses the next. He thinks he's untouchable, that no one is paying attention. But he's wrong. Scarface doesn't understand Gotham. He doesn't understand the rules. This isn't a chessboard. It's a meat grinder. And when the war is over, there won't be anything left for him to take. When the Joker died, some people thought that was the end of Harley Quinn. They thought without him, she would just disappear. But Harley's not in anyone's shadow anymore. She's been building her own crew, carving out her own empire. But Harley's not like Joker. He wanted chaos. She wants control. She thinks she can take what he left behind and make it hers. But the city doesn't work that way. And Harley? She's not ready for what's coming. Finally, Deathstroke and Deadshot. Someone hired them, and every night they come for me. Deathstroke fights like a tactician. Every move is calculated, every strike meant to kill. Deadshot doesn't fight at all. He just waits for the perfect shot, tracking me down somewhere in the dark. They almost had me last week. Deathstroke's blade came within an inch of my heart. Deadshot's bullet clipped my shoulder. Next time they won't miss. But next time, I'll be ready. They think the city is theirs to take, but they're wrong. The city doesn't belong to them. It doesn't belong to the killers or the monsters or the criminals who think they own the streets. Gotham belongs to the people, to the ones who haven't given up yet, the ones who still fight. And I'm not alone. Gordon is out there, running himself into the ground to keep what's left of the city standing. Nightwing watches over Bloodhaven, and he's never more than a call away. Robin is still learning, still growing, but he's got the fight in him. And Batgirl, she never hesitates, she never stops. We're not just a team. We're a force, and together, we don't stop. That's why I'm here. That's why we are here. Because as long as we're here, there's still hope. And as long as there is hope, they will never win.